got this, right? Yellow for sanitation because of the rain gear that is issued to the sanitation team. Okay, so with that being said, let's put that on. We're doing a SSOP review. Let's be yellow. Here we go again. Hello again, PCQI, and welcome back. In today's segment, we're going to be performing SSOP review for cleaning and sanitation, and this is specifically to an equipment, the sealer. Okay, so this is sent to us by our compliance department for review. So we'll take a look at that. So SSOP stands for Sanitation Standard Operating Procedure. Okay. Now note what I'm about to read off to you. If you have these type of SSOPs, please make sure that you customize them, okay, for your intended process. Now on this part, obviously there's a document title and clearly states what it is. It's an SSOP for cleaning and sanitation for the sealer. There's also a document control number section, so make sure you have those for your document control program, and your revision number or version date or version number. Make sure you enter that, and what department this thing or this SSOP applies to. So a lot of them, they just kind of leave it for sanitation, or in this one, because it's a sealer, I'm assuming it's for the packaging department, so you can also put that on there so the technician knows what department it belongs to. And then it has your supersedes. This is an original. So, and then the effective date, who prepared it, prepared by, reviewed by, and approved by. Those are important, right? I could have prepared this. In this case, I'm the reviewer, so I'm reviewing it. But at the end of the day, this has to be approved by senior management, so you don't get a pushback of, hey, wait a minute, why are you guys doing it that way? Then you get asked. So it's nice to have your SSOP approved by senior management. And then you have obviously those applicable dates for the document. So let's kind of dive into the SSOP review. All right. So they put a purpose here. It says to provide a proper procedure for cleaning and sanitation of the sealer. Now on this part, sometimes I'd like to put what type of sealer it is because they're very different, right? So obviously this is written in a general format. It's a template at this point that I'm gonna take a look at. So basically I'm gonna add one here, maybe the sealer name, model, or ID number, right? So you want to be, I want to be specific for that. And that's just an option. Like me, like I told you in previous videos, I love SOPs and I really want them to be very specific so there's no confusion when they are being implemented. Now, frequency, basically the frequency of this one is prior to production or the start of production and also the end of shift, for that. So they basically put the frequency here as part of the sanitation program, obviously. So, and also on the frequency, let me see here for cleaning, I'm gonna add, it gives you room to add your frequency. So add, I'd say prior to use. Because sometimes, you have these types, they might be sitting outside the production area. They could be in the warehouse or your equipment area and they're sealed off with tags and whatnot. So you want to, put certain verbiage on there on your SSOPs, prior to use. Tools and equipment. So this is the area where what you're gonna need to perform this task. So when your sanitation technician shows up to this particular equipment, they're prepared. So some of the things that were listed here are soft bristle brush, spray bottle, fabric hand towel, right? Container bucket. So on the fabric hand towel, I might have that one removed because the hand towel could be a carrier of contaminants. So I'm going to replace that with paper towels, okay, instead of a fabric one. Believe it or not, I've had towels, those little, like these, right? And I use them just to kind of wipe my table around all the time here in my office. But believe it or not, let me put that back here for visualization. I've sent these things to the lab, and you'd be surprised what's in them. Okay, so that was actually a challenge from a colleague of mine who's a microbiologist with FDA. He does micro testing, and he did that exercise when I was training with him. And we were surprised what was in it. So that kind of convinced me not even use them, in the production line. Just paper towels, one-time use, wipe and throw away. So I made a change to that. Other part, you need a container and a bucket, okay? And then you have your PPEs, obviously, because you're going to be handling chemicals. There are goggles here and your rubber gloves, boots, apron, face mask. Now, depending on this one, you also have some tools that you can add, like if you're already in raincoats. That's why we kind of take a look at and wear, let me grab this, right? Yellow for sanitation, because of the rain gear that is issued to the sanitation team. Okay, so with that being said, let's put that on. We're doing a SSOP review. Let's be yellow, okay, for our color coding. All right. Consumables, obviously they've listed some detergent and disinfectant and sanitizers here. Now in this part right here, you can refer them to your approved chemicals that you're using. Now if it's specific to certain process, especially for the sealer, maybe some chemicals are not they're not very friendly to rubber materials. Maybe it deteriorates them and whatnot. So if that's a concern, and if you've looked at that already, please annotate it on this SSOP so that flags the sanitation technician to basically give them a notice saying do not use these type of chemicals on this application, okay? So you can list those in your SSOP. And then the responsibility of the person that's doing this cleaning activity, actually performing the cleaning. Now some of these have work instructions too that you can use, and you can put photos and and how to do all of those steps, kind of like when you're buying furniture, right? And they have all of those information with arrows on them, and sometimes less words. It's just on pictogram. Follow the procedure for cleaning and sanitation of the sealer. So then they got those listed out and broken down. If you have to remove the rubber part and kind of get into the nook and crannies of it, or you don't, right? So then you have different procedures for your just normal cleaning and then actually, dismantling it as well. So now this could be also part of your environmental, if it's, if it's in your zone 2. And anyways, let's stick with SSOPs. My brain is going that way again, right? Cleaning team, leader, supervisor. So what the team leader or the supervisor's responsibility, for this particular SSOP is listed, and the QA to perform their verification. So basically, are they gonna ATP it, and and then you can refer that to your ATP procedures as well here. So then the technician knows, or the lead can then call QC if that's a requirement for this SSOP moving forward with that. Now sometimes they're not listed, so you don't know you're done, and then somebody asks, are these completed, and you don't know if the QA or QC performed their verification of cleaning activity. And then it has the procedures instructions. So this is where you can add photos, basically for pre-cleaning and safety precautionary measures. So we put some in there. Believe it or not, you don't see this a lot on SSOPs. And I've seen technicians, their eyes are red and they keep rubbing them, and and then I look at the SSOP, it's poorly written, even though it makes sense, right, to put eye protection, but people take them off, things like that, or they forget to put them on because they're not feeling the mood and whatnot. So it's nice to have them here. So proper use of the PPEs, wear goggles, rubber gloves, apron, rubber boots, and face mask for protection, or don your rain gear. Ensure that the detergent and disinfectant are not expired, right? And that you are familiar in their use. So then they got those listed there as well. Referring it to the SDS if you need more information in the event of you got it in your on your face, or in your eyes and whatnot. And then it goes to the prep for the equipment, or in this event the sealer. Make sure it's shut down and turn off, right? So this is the preparation for that. Unplug it, okay? Now in this part right here, your sealer might be a bigger equipment. I think in this part this is kind of a smaller equipment type that's kind of a rollaway. But if it's a larger part of it, and then that you have your LOTO, your lockout tagout procedures, make sure those are implemented. And then it has some prep here for your electronics, of how to protect those, obviously, right, by applying your proper coverings and waterproofing, and then cleaning them afterwards, for that, once you remove it, and actually performing your sanitation, cleaning and sanitation for those high touch, right, because you're touching buttons or knobs and whatnot. And then there's ensure no parts or surface of the sealer is at a high or hot temperature, right? So you can avoid burns, and water's going to hit that, or liquid's going to hit it, so you're going to have those fumes hitting you back. So make sure that the equipment is cooled down prior to you performing your SSOP activity. And then you have the pre-cleaning, right? And now this is where the dilution comes in for your chemicals. Now, like I said, if this is a specialty chemicals, what are your parts per million mixes? How many ounces per gallons? Is it metered and whatnot? So all of your chemicals, make sure you follow those dilutions. Now, if you're dealing with listeria, obviously you have different quats and different chemicals that you might be applying if it's applicable in this process. So go ahead and list those here, or whatever pathogen you're trying to search and destroy at your plant. And basically it also gives them procedures for recording the chemical inventory logs for the chemical used for this process, or for the entire SSOP process, as a reminder, okay? And then cleaning of the sealer, obviously you're gonna have some different type of cleaning methods. Is it a dry cleaning? Is it completely wet and scrubbing and all of those things? What does that look like? So they have pictures, and the type of tools or consumables that are being used, and type of application, like wiping, removing the dirt and dust and other debris, performing the wet cleaning of the sealer, applying the chemicals, removing stains, or all the stickers. So the sealer goes through, sometimes you have leftover stickers or plastic or labels. You're gonna have some of your packaging team, they're just they get to the habit of just sticking it to the side, and your sealing mechanism has all of these other foreign object at this point, so it covers all of those. I've mentioned wiping, and then wet process, drying process, and then setting it aside for allowing it to air dry and things like that. So what I like about this other part right here, after you did your wet process before applying the sanitizer, it gives direction to call QA/QC for them to come out and do the ATP if it's applicable in this equipment, and then they can then proceed on applying the sanitizer and letting it air dry. And then there's a post-cleaning procedures, and this mainly talks about disposing of the unused chemicals if it's just for that specific process, and also disposing all of the consumable soiled or consumable items, paper towels and things like that. So it has some additional by the way, do this for housekeeping sake, and so you're done with it and prepping it back. Now this one is actually going into temporary storage. So it has instruction there where they're gonna cover it after air drying, and they're gonna put a sticker, and it was clean and sanitized, performed by date and time. And then there's a verification process, and then there's another tag that basically saying clean and sanitize prior to use and calibrate if applicable prior to activation on the line. So they have some best practices in place when it comes to storing the equipment temporarily and then bringing it back. But as you can see, they're still performing the cleaning and sanitation before putting it in the temporary storage area because of pest control, and food safety, obviously, if there are any splatter of food or liquid that came from production. So that's, they're making sure those are dealt with. And then they have some corrective actions in there dealing with stain or, dirt and things like that. If things are not coming off, some biofilm, and how to use the brush so you don't damage the equipment. So there's some corrective action for that. And if the chemicals are not working, they have a primary, an alternate, and a substitute for these type of processes, which I always preach on. You guys heard me in other videos just on personal responsibility, who's got the primary, the alternate, and the substitute, just in case this person wasn't here and this person can perform it, and if both of them are not available, who can still perform that task. They're applying that same principle in their chemical. So if this doesn't work, use this one, and if this doesn't work, this is a substitute for it, and it's actually mentioned in this procedure. So which is good. And then they have a CAPA procedure for non-compliance. So if they have performed all of the activities that are in this SSOPs, and they discovered or made observation that they can learn from, there's a provision to actually do a investigation through their CAPA system, so they can learn from it. So I think that's a very, very good practice for that. And lastly, before the history and changes section, they put in a related form. So this is the procedure that they have. Their checklist, what checklist to use, the cleaning and sanitation of equipment and appliances schedule. So it's on there. So during an audit, you have your master sanitation program as part of it. Your SSOP verification and inspection for compliance. And your chemical inventory log is also related to this particular procedure. So that's very nice. So anyways, PCQI, let me end it there. Thank you for your viewership and participation. Till next time, have a great day and keep it going. Bye for now. Contact us. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Thanks again, PCQIs. Have a good one.